Welcome to the Tradies in Business podcast. Join your host, Nicole Cox, as she dives into the real stories, tips, secrets, and stuff-ups from guests both inside and outside the trade world. Nick is here to help you break free from the grind, reduce money stress, and build a trade business that truly works for you. So grab a brew, put your phone on silent, and get ready to be inspired.
Welcome back, my tradie friends and listeners. I'm really excited about today's episode. This is a really proud mum moment for me. Oh, and I'll try not to get all emotional. I get to interview my boy today. I'm a really lucky mum to 2 kids and 3 bonus kids. I've got 5 kids, and I have the great honour to be able to share with you today the journey and the story that comes along with one of those 5 kids. Blake, thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you for having me, Mum. Appreciate it. It's been a long time coming. We've chatted about this a couple of times. So I jumped on the podcast. So
We
good
have.
to finally be on here and have a conversation. It'll be good.
I'm glad that you can do this, and keep me equal, because otherwise I'd just sob my way through. Uh, Anybody that knows when I talk about my kids, I get very emotional. So that's just because I'm very proud of them all. Blake, you're not just here because you're my kid today. You actually have an amazing journey for us to share with our listeners. And then we're going to talk a lot about AI, which is your current field of, I don't know, I was going to say expertise. And then thinking about what we were talking about earlier, maybe that's the wrong word, but we'll get to that a bit later. Blake,
We will get to that.
why don't you give us a bit of an introduction to you and I guess the journey so far, because you haven't always been working in AI. In fact, coming out of school, you didn't do anything like this at all. Tell us all about it.
No. Well, I guess obviously in school, as a lot of entrepreneurs do, I sort of struggled in school a little bit, like that feeling of not really fitting in. So coming out of school, I wanted to go into sales. I thought that was my new thing. I've never really been able to attach myself in terms of learning, sitting in a class. It was just not really ever my thing. So I came out of school. I actually had an auntie who does sales, and so I was like,
Mm.
oh, that's the thing, right? That's how I make money. That's how I get a nice car. She had a nice car at the time. So I was like, oh yeah, all right, I'll do sales. Got into sales, and it just wasn't really my thing. I find that, as you would know very well, Mum, I don't like being told what to do. And so I found going into a job, and it was just working at a carpet store at the time, but still it was that authoritative person above me, the figure like telling me what to do. As much freedom as you do get in sales, it just didn't really feel like me. And so I coasted through that job for the next 2 years, and pretty much every day the thing with me is, if I don't love something, I'm generally not going to do it to the highest standard. Like I have to either thoroughly enjoy it or understand the cause or whatever it is. And so when I lose passion for something, I'm just not interested in it.
Mm.
And so I found through that job for the next 2 years working in that sales job that it was pretty much just exactly that. I just lost passion, wasn't really interested, and I just knew that that wasn't what I wanted to do. And also, it doesn't help when you're only making about, I think I was on like $14 an hour at the time, and being a 18, 19-year-old wanting to go out every weekend with all my friends, like it's not feasible. So from there, I moved into a warehouse job, which was it's called pick packing in a freezer. So it's like minus 30 degrees, and we had these big jackets on, and you're going through, you're picking up all the stuff off the shelves and whatnot. And that was good because I was able to make more money, so it was great. But it's just not the right environment for someone like me. I found that mentally it wasn't great,
Mm.
and so from there, um, same sort of thing as when I was in the South. Like, okay, I know I don't want to do this. This is more of like it's a stepping stone. And at that time, the big thing was crypto and e-commerce. And so I'd actually bought what was called drop shipping. So I'd bought a drop shipping course, I think when I was back in the sales job. And I never did anything with it. I never touched it, never looked at it, as many entrepreneurs first do, or many, as Alex Hormozi would call them, as entrepreneurs. So people who want to be entrepreneurs, but don't really actually attach themselves to something. So I was exactly that when I was in my sales job. And so I found, that I bought that drop shipping course, and I never did anything with it. Anyway, fast forward, I've been working in this warehouse job, looking into crypto, trying to understand what that's all about. But I knew deep down that I was destined for something a little bit better than this, in terms of me personally, how I felt about it. And so I think I've been there for 8 months, and I was driving to work one day. I was listening to a podcast by a guy named Frankie Lee. And Frankie Lee is someone who migrated from the UK over to Australia. Anyway, he interviews all these entrepreneurs in Australia. And there's one entrepreneur, Mitch Third, and maybe some people know him, maybe some people don't. And he was talking about habits and being an entrepreneur and what it takes and what you need to do and all this type of stuff. And that was kind of like the road that I was going down in terms of what I wanted to do. And literally, after hearing that, my mindset had just shifted into go mode, and I was like, this is what I need to be doing. So, and he was in e-commerce at the time, so I was like, okay, this is the opportunity, and that's kind of like where I threw myself. So literally that day on the way to work, I went into work and I said to my boss, at the time, I said, because I was a really good worker at this job, I was, I'd have a monster before work, and ADHD, I just go. I'd just be on it all day. So they loved me. I was a really good worker. And so I said to him, I said, look, I don't want to do this anymore. My plan is I want to do e-commerce is what it was, 5 days a week, but I'll work for you guys on the weekends.
Mm.
And that was basically my proposal to him. I said, look, I'm either going to quit or you can have me for Saturday, Sundays.
Mm-hmm.
And he obviously said yes. And so pretty much from there, I kind of just threw myself into the deep end and went back to that drop shipping course that I bought 1.5 years prior, maybe 2 years prior. Not that it really did much, and it was kind of a bit of a trivial thing, and I didn't learn a crazy amount, but it started me on my journey, and that's kind of where I got to step into it. From there, spent the next 2 years actually. Was it 2 years? Maybe about a year and a half, working 5 days a week on e-commerce. And I'll get into what that actually looked like. About 5 days of that, and then Saturday, Sunday, I'd work in the warehouse and pick packing. So, as a 19, 20-year-old, it was a really big sacrifice to not be able to go out with your friends and whatnot. And it was nighttime shifts. So I'd start at 1 p.m. and finish at, I think it was 11 p.m. So, and at the time we lived in Ipswich, the drive was about an hour to work every single day. You get home, you'd eat some food, you'd have to wake up at like 10, 11, and then I have to get in the car like an hour later and go to work. So there really wasn't much time. So that's kind of why I had that big shift of, okay, I need to quit this job so that I can pursue what I wanted to do. Anyway, so there was about a year and a half of that. And with drop shipping, the key is the scale, like how many stores can you start? Like how many products can you test? Like that's the big thing. And it's kind of like the thing with entrepreneurship across the entire game is, generally your first one's not going to be a big hit, but how can you test something in the cheapest, fastest way so that you can go on to the next thing if that one doesn't work? And I learned that skill through dropshipping because that's pretty much what it's all about. A year and a half, and Mum, you would know this very well, I would come upstairs because I was still living at home at the time. I'd come upstairs like, Mum, I found this new thing, and it would be some gadget, or it'd be a reusable water balloon or whatever it was. It's reusable water balloon and whatever. I'd come upstairs and I'd be, oh, this is the next thing. I'm gonna make it with this, and then I'd make the store, and then I'd go to market with it. I'd start running ads, and then 3 days later, you asked me, oh, how's it going? I was like, yeah, no sales yet, or whatever it was, or a couple sales and nothing. And so, but I had about a year and a half of that, and then yeah, it was just mass testing, and then I guess it was just right time, right product. We're selling this bodysuit, which was Kim Kardashian had this product called Skims at the time, and so that was right time, right product. I was selling like a cheaper version, buy one get one free, $50 or whatever it was, and that was kind of the one that set off. And yeah, we did about we went from 0 to 2 million in sales in about 6 months, I think it was, or maybe 7 months or something like that. And so that was like, holy shit. I don't know if you can swear on this podcast, I apologize, but yeah, that was like a holy shit moment. And it's weird because I went through this entire time, a year and a half of that's all I did was e-commerce, and on the weekends I'd be at the warehouse. But an entire year of that, and you think you're ready for it, and you think you go through every single day, you're like, oh yeah, I'm an entrepreneur, like I'm doing all this type of stuff. But once it actually comes, I think the biggest thing I learned was not having a mentor, not having that person that you can talk to. And the one thing with drop shipping is it's a very scarce market. Like there's so many people that do it. And so the big thing is like you hold your products close to your chest. I don't go and tell every single person in like a Discord or a chat that I'm with, oh, I'm scaling this product right now. Does anyone have any tips? Because everyone else is going to steal that because it's such an easy thing that you can steal because, you know, you set up a store and, you know, maybe an hour later you might have something that you can go to market with. And so it's one of those businesses where we got to keep it very close to your heart. And I think that was the big thing that actually hindered me in terms of scale and whatnot. Because to go from drop shipping, which doing drop shipping isn't that hard, to go from that to then trying to build a brand from it, that was the big thing. It's like to get from here to there, that big gap, like I had no knowledge of it. And I was at the time scared to go to people to ask them for help and whatnot. And so I think having a mentor is probably one of the most important things for people when they're starting businesses nowadays. Because they've had 10, 15 years, maybe it's even 5 years, but all those learnings, all those challenges that they've got through, they can just pass it down to you. That's why like elders within a community is so important because they can pass down the knowledge, and that's just how it works. Same thing for entrepreneurship. But anyway, had this crazy come up, 0 to whatever it was in 6 months, and yeah, everything was great. Moved in this apartment in Gold Coast, was living on top of the world, was going out, having fun, partying, whatnot, and I kind of felt like the king at the time. My ego was super high, felt great. And then about maybe 8 months after I started it, I started seeing different cracks, like those cracks in the business and whatnot, and you know, money actually started coming down and couldn't figure out what was going wrong, and I kept kind of coasting for the next 3 to 4 months. I knew in the back of my head that something was wrong, but I just wasn't really being honest with myself in that time, and number one, didn't want to go speak to someone about it, but also didn't really know what I was doing in terms of scaling a business. And so yeah, that was the big thing. So 3 to 4 months of that, and every single month I'd check the P&L and it'd be going down and down and down. But I'd be looking at my trackers and it's like, okay, well, the money's going up. Like, obviously I'm doing something right. This is great. And I'd be scanning the ads and they look profitable on this tracker and whatnot. And so I was like, oh, this is fine. I'll just keep scaling, add more money. And that's kind of like the aim of the game with dropshipping. Like you just stoke the fire a little bit more, put ads, new videos and whatnot. And without actually having the proper structure to scale this, I mean, that was the big thing. The tipping point was for those 3-4 months, I was working with a new e-commerce. They use these trackers for like profit, and so you can connect your ads to it, you can connect your Shopify store to it, and your product costs and whatnot. At the end of the day, it'll tell you, okay, this is how many sales you've had, this is how much you spent on ads, this is your product cost, and it gives you a profit at the end of the day. So at the end of every day, I was looking and I was like, oh, great, I'm making money here. This is awesome. And I'd go and buy stuff. I'm like, oh, you know, I made whatever it was today. Like, I'll just go and buy this. I don't care. Like, it doesn't matter. And it took me 4 months to sit down through an Excel sheet because I'd noticed in my bank account that I had a significant lower amount of money than what I thought I did have.
Yeah.
And I was like kind of internally freaking out a little bit. And it turned out that I had a VA, and I take full responsibility. It wasn't VA's fault. It was my management, but I had a VA fill out the that platform wrong, and so every single day I'd check those profits, and it wasn't actually as profitable as what it looked like. We were actually losing money for those last 3 to 4 months. So you've got this 0 to 6 months. It goes like this. Okay, so we're scaling up, right? And then those 3 to 4 months, in terms of scale, you're at your highest point. So we're spending the most amount of money that we've spent on ads every single day. Profit isn't as much, but we're still making money. But because the scale is so high with the money that you're spending on ads, when it's not profitable, it goes down twice as fast. And so that's pretty much what happened. After that, it was you'd know, Mum, it was a really big ego hit actually. you think you're on top of the world, and you go from 0 to 6 months, and yeah, you think you're the king, and then 6, 8 months later, whatever it was, maybe a year later, you're basically back down to where you started.
Yeah.
And so that was a pretty tough time.
Was
I moved into this place in Gold Coast, kind of made it my identity. That's the big thing with ego, right? You feel that's how you feel as a person. It's these things that don't really matter, these objects that you think that's you, right? And so that's what I was going through that time. Eventually I had to move out of that apartment. But for like a golden end of the story, through that time of scarceness and scared mindset of like, shit, it's all going to shit. Like, what do I do? I kind of felt I'd stumbled into AI, and I was like, okay, this is new. This was what, 2022 at the time, and so AI was very, very new at the time. Yeah, AI callers were just coming in, and I was actually one of the first people to start sort of advertising an AI calling platform within Australia and sell to the Australian market. And so I was very lucky that I was able to jump into a market so early, and so I was able to learn so many skills and kind of move the skills I had from business and entrepreneurship and moving into this AI space. So for the last, well, it's 2022, the last 3 years. Has it been 3 years? Maybe it's only been 2 years. Yeah, 2 years. Last 2 years, been originally I was scaling this business called Growth AI, which was we'd go into businesses, we'd build custom solutions, custom AI solutions, whether that be an automation for XYZ, or it be an AI agent that would do all your appointment setting for you, or there's so many different things there. But that was, again, you move into something because you think it's going to be easy, right?
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, I've scaled this e-commerce, and I was like, oh, this can be easy. I know what I'm doing. Even after that big ego hit, you're not fully the same as what you were before, but still you have this confidence about you. So I was like, oh yeah, I can figure it out. I'll figure it out, and I definitely did. But that's the thing with humans, is like assumed skills. Like you see someone else do it, you think it's easy, and you think in your head like that makes it easy. It's like if you were to watch Michael Jackson do the moonwalk, if you watch that 10 times in a row, you're probably going to think yourself, oh, I could probably do that. When it comes to actually doing it, you're probably going to freeze, right? Because you see how easy it is. You see Michael Jackson doing it so easily. Okay, that looks easy. I can then go and do that. And then when you actually try and do it, you don't have any of the skills. You never practice it.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, there's a little bit of stray, but yeah. Where was I?
So you were 2023. You'd started Growth AI.
Yeah,
You thought you had the confidence. The ego was back to play just a little bit, and
just a little bit.
what happened after that?
What happened after that? Yeah, I was running Growth AI for a bit. We're doing well. Little inconsistent at times, but overall we were doing well, helping businesses, building out stuff for them. It was really good, building some important things for different businesses. Ended up moving over to Bali for 2 months. I'm currently in Bali right now again, but I was over in Bali for 2 months. That was actually one of the big perspective shifts that I've had in a long time. So I think I went from being in Gold Coast to being around lots of people, to then living back at home for a little bit before I went to Bali for 2 months. And so it was like, for me personally, I usually go on my shell quite a lot. So like when I need to do something or something's not working, I just rely and trust myself. As whatever that boils down to, must be some past trauma or something. But yeah, I end up just like trusting myself, and I just go and do it. I go and sit in a corner and just go and do whatever I need to do. And so you don't focus on friendships. You cut out things that other people might think are important. You remove any balance within your life because, well, this is just how I personally feel. When I get in those times, or when you're locked in per se, that's like your only focus, right?
Mm.
So did that, moved to Bali. The big perspective shift was, like surrounding yourself with other people, like that is the game. That's the game for growth. And so I think that was the big thing, is like from then it's like, okay, how do I go back to all the other people I used to talk to and, start these relationships and connecting with people and living with different people. Like I said, I'm currently in Bali with a guy I met from the US, and we're building this platform at the moment. So it's all happening as we speak. But yeah, I think the big thing that I took away from that was, yes, like surrounding yourself with killers is like one of the most important things, because it sets you to a new standard. It's like, what's that simple saying of like, when you're in a group of fours and you might be a six, your attitude comes down to a four. But if you're a six in a group of tens, you might come up to an eight, and
Yeah.
eventually you might be a 10, but you're in that environment for that to actually become a thing.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Okay, I've got a couple of questions, or I want you to share the story, because I think so much of what you've spoken about really relates to the same sort of business journey for a tradie. And whilst our businesses might be different, pretty well everything that you've experienced is stuff I talk to tradies about every day. The ego hit when suddenly it's not working well anymore, or
Mm.
the lack of clarity sneaking up on you and creating this imbalance, and those opportunities for you to really hide, I suppose, from what's going on, so you can really concentrate on the road ahead, but then creating that imbalance so that you don't have that support or the friendship or the understanding from others, so that it can feel a little bit normal instead of you being just locked away in your own head. But one of the other things I was thinking about, so Blake, you never mentioned in terms of scale, because there was a whole bunch of really exciting stuff that happened during that time as well. Like Snapchat, you were one of the very first people to advertise on Snapchat, so much so that Snapchat reached out to you and wanted to work with you. That was some really cool stuff happened as well that really broadened out your exposure, but some shitty stuff happened as well. And there was that, I don't know if you even remember this. Remember the guy who tried to take you down at the beginning of Growth AI from Dubai? Was it from Dubai? And I did.
Goodbye.
But this is a really important lesson for trades. We talk all the time about securing your business opportunities, because very much like in drop shipping, tradies don't talk to other tradies about their business unless they're involved in a community. And this is a great learning for them about how to uh, well, this guy really tried to do a number on you, and it took a lot of support for you to pull through to the other side of this one. They talk about that, but also, the power of trademarking, the power of making sure that we've got our business name secure so that nobody else can jump in and steal it. Tell us about what happened. It was really quite frustrating at the time.
Look, in hindsight, if I could give some advice before I go into the story, I would say the name doesn't matter. But at the time, the name mattered. I wanted that name. So there was this guy, like you said, from Dubai, or he might have even been from the UK. I can't even remember. No, I'm pretty sure it was from Dubai. All right, so I started advertising within Australia as like a AI agency, and we were implementing AI calling solutions and whatnot within Australia. So we had Growth AI, and this guy had Growth's AI, but he wasn't even marketing in Australia, US. He was only in the UAE, and he wasn't even doing what we were doing. He's doing something different. But he'd submitted a trademark to UAE like a month prior. And I don't know if your listeners will know, but trademarks can take 12 months to be accepted. Trademarks take ages. And so a submission of a trademark means nothing. Anyway, he went through all this legal stuff of trying to take me down for advertising and going against it. And he went so low to creating an automation to book out my calendar every single day.
I forgot about that.
It was kind of funny at the end of it, but in the moment, I was so pissed off. Because at that time we were getting so many appointments, and every single day everyone would jump on, and all the bookings would go on. Kind of funny in hindsight, but it's obviously super annoying. And what ended up happening was I found out that he used the same CRM as me, and I was able to report him to the CRM, and that got him banned completely. And so after that, I'm pretty sure he shut down his business. Don't do that if you're a tradie. Don't don't book out your competitors, whatever or whatnot. But I think the big thing for tradies is, especially men, and I know there's a lot of women tradies that listen to your podcast and that you work with, but obviously I'm a man, so I know more about that. I think the biggest thing for them is number one, ego, and then also like talking to people, like a
Mm,
big thing, especially for blokes, like man, like tradies, whatever. Like you go into the job site, you're an apprentice, you're getting a lot of shit for the first 2 to 4 years. You're treated like, how apprentices is treated, and that kind of like carries on. You're never going to really talk to your boss or your teammates about anything, and so you kind of get in this mental mindset of like, oh, talking's a little weak, and you might even think, oh no, I talk to my wife or I talk to my friends or whatever, but deep down, I think from those experiences, it's something that a lot of men who run businesses and trades, and this can be across the board, just businesses in general, that we don't speak enough. Um, and that might be about mental health, but I think more so in my case, it was more so about the actual business and like the ego involved and like shit, like it's not working or I am not good at this thing that I thought I was good at.
mm,
And so rather than holding on to that fact of, okay, I can do it, I can figure it out, like you're able to, yeah, just remove that fear and speak to people. It can make such a big shift. And it's one of the things that I've focused on in this new business that I'm working on. Is like, because it's a completely new field of software. It's like SaaS is what it's called, AI SaaS. And so like, oh, I've never built an AI SaaS platform before, but I'm able to speak to people within my network or whatever it is about things that I don't know to help me, you know, excel the growth and get through those things that we don't actually understand. So I think the big thing for tradies is, as much as it feels weird to talk to your competition, being in those groups, and I know Adam, which is my stepdad, your husband, he's in this group called BNI, and there's other tradies within those groups. And, they might do different stuff or whatever it is, but they're able to talk about different challenges or things that are going well. And it's just a space to learn. And that could be as simple as, when you're down at the pub chatting with your mate who runs the electrical business, you can chat to him about specific things and just opening up. And, if it's not working, say,
mm.
I had this shit thing this week and whatnot, and we lost X amount of dollars because this one thing, have you done anything like this? You know anyone has? And even just getting it off your chest just feels better because like
Mm,
a lot of people, we bottle it down, and it's just this bottle of anxiety that feels within our bodies. And rather than talking about it, it just stays there, and it's like it becomes this pit of shame. And I think that's where the ego comes from. Is like you
mm,
just have shame within yourself of these things that you think you're failing because it comes down to expectations. The
yep,
expectation of what you can do versus what you know or what you are doing
yep.
brings that shame, and then that's when the ego comes out. It's like, no, I've got this. I kind of have to worry about it. So I think a really big thing for any business owner, trade business owners especially, is talking.
Mm,
It doesn't have to be mental health, just can be talking about the business or, when something is working, you need to build that confidence. Talk about when stuff is working. And mum, you would know this about me. I hate talking about stuff that's working.
just
Most
about anything.
podcasts, most of this podcast has been about shit that hasn't gone right. So I think a lot of, it's good to talk about stuff that is working, and it's good to talk about stuff that isn't working. But just
Yeah.
talking in general is really, really good, I think.
I'm going to replay that section to you next time you go quiet on me. Just giving you a warning right now.
All right. Sounds good.
I saw a really good quote this morning on my socials, and I'll bastardize it because I can't remember it word for word. But um, it basically said, "Your fear isn't failure; it's your fear is other people seeing you fail and the perception of that." And in actual fact, most people don't even know what you're doing, because even if I think about my community is quite large. And other than those that I'm working with and seriously invested in their outcomes, I don't actually know what most of my friends and family are doing on the day to day. So if they had some stumble, I wouldn't even know about it unless they told me about it. So I think that was actually really reassuring for me, and perhaps it brings some of our listeners some reassurance as well. I always think when we do talk, nothing is as isolating yourself, and sharing a problem can really, it won't necessarily solve the problem, but it can most definitely lessen that pit of shame that you talk about and the horrible feelings that go with it. Blake, let's talk about what you're doing now. So you've been dragging your mother out of the past century for the past 2 years now and making me do AI things, and it has changed my business completely. And I would love to talk about AI in general and why trade business owners need to care about AI and should be investigating the opportunities available to them.
Sure. So I wrote this LinkedIn post yesterday, and I'll take you through it. The headline was, "The era of specialists is over. Generalists are here." And what that actually means is, because AI is so powerful, it's so smart, it has so much knowledge that it can obtain and it can use within context. So context can be like its brain. Think about our brain, our memory. You go back to when you're 3 years old, or it could be even 2 weeks ago. Like, it's really hard to remember everything. Whereas AI doesn't have that problem. You can give it a context of memory, and it's able to work within that context, and not have any issues of finding anything. So because of that, AI will eventually take over so many different things within businesses and so many different roles within businesses.
Mhm.
What we're seeing right now, the big thing is AI coding agents, which is a developer. So someone that would build a platform like Zoom, what we're on right now. Someone back in the day when Zoom came out would have had to sit there with a bunch of developers building out this platform, writing all the code and adding everything in there, building out all the buttons and all the features and the functions and whatnot. Now, in the last year, the platforms that use these AI agents that can actually code for you. And so I'm not a coder. I'm more of a non-technical founder. I have technical skills in AI, of course. But overall, I'm more of the entrepreneur, and I have people under me that do a lot of this stuff. But I was able to build what I'm building right now, which is a SaaS platform, using this AI coding agent without any prior knowledge of development. Like, I have no idea how to code a platform. I've never done it before. I look at that code and it scares me as much as the person watching this would scare them. Like, I still don't even like looking at it. But I have these AI agents that are specialists within this one field. And granted, they might not be as good as a developer right now,
Mhm.
but we're talking 6 months, a year max, to where a developer isn't really required.
Mm.
And so when I say the era of specialists is over and generalists is here, what I mean is the person who is the jack of all trades, master of none. We've all heard that saying before. Jack of all trades, master of none. That used to be a bit of a, oh, well, he's all right at everything, but he's not really good at most. He's not very good at one specific thing or whatever. That moves away from master of none to jack of all trades, master of all, because
Mhm.
AI becomes the specialist within that specific field. And so I would class myself more as a generalist, as an entrepreneur. A lot of entrepreneurs are exactly that. They might have one specialist field, but generally we understand everything.
Mhm.
Um, Trade business owners, a lot of them would be the same. And so because AI can be a specialist within one specific field, I can now be a specialist within that field with only having a little bit of knowledge. Like
Mm.
what I've just mentioned with the building out a platform, I only had a little bit of knowledge about building out a platform, like the coding and whatnot. But I could become a specialist with that, with the help of AI agents that would do that for me. And so I think the big thing for trade business owners is just learning, really. I think that's the big thing. Learning and actually um, getting your hands a little bit dirty. Because, like with the Michael Jackson thing I said earlier, if you watched it 10 times and then tried to perform the act, you're never going to be able to do it. If you've never moonwalked before, like let's say you've just seen it for the first time, and everyone's obviously seen that before, but you've never seen it for the first time. You watch it 10 times in a row, you're never going to be able to do it. You're going to get 2 steps in and you're going to feel like a freak and you'll probably stop. Whereas if you were to practice 10 times and then after that, your confidence levels would be much higher and you would likely be able to do that. So I think getting your hands dirty and actually just delving into the AI space, using ChatGPT on your day to day, talking to it with your has a talk mode that you can use, um, going into newsletters. And I know lots of trade business owners, maybe they don't want to read, listening to podcasts. It's a really good source of knowledge. I think that's like the key piece is someone might be scared of AI, but the reason why they're scared of AI is because they don't understand it or they don't
Mm.
know the abilities of it. And so they sit there with this pit of anxiety of like, oh, is it going to take over my job? Like, what do I do? How do I actually implement this? And so that can be really scary for a lot of people. And if we were to move into what I'm working on at the moment, this is a key piece that we're trying to solve for business owners. Is it's a platform called Wispix AI. Basically, what it allows you to do is exactly what I just spoke about, being a generalist. So a lot of your listeners, they might not know how to build AI agents or automate tasks or build automations or whatever it is. Previously, you would either take 3 to 4 weeks to maybe learn a platform and try and do it yourself, or you'd hire someone like myself with my previous business, and we'd go out, we'd charge you a fee, and then we'd build it out custom for you. Now, what we're building at the moment is similar to ChatGPT. It's a chat interface. You just have a conversation with it, and then from there, it either does tasks for you, or it might build a teammate or an AI employee for your business. So let's say, Mum, you wanted to automate all of your calls within your business, so like appointment setting, or it could be SMSs or calls. Rather than you either going to an agency, hey, I want this type of tone, this knowledge base, XYZ, need you to build it out for me. They might charge you 3, 5 grand, 10 grand, depending on the sizes and scopes. And then you got to pay for the cost of the calls on top of that. Instead of that, you would simply just have a conversation with our platform. Say, hey, I'm looking to do this. And as ChatGPT is really good with having conversations, similarly is our platform. So you can have a conversation with it. You can say, hey, I'm looking to automate XYZ. Can you help me with that? It'll help you build out a plan, which is exactly what ChatGPT would do. So it's the same feel, it's the same type of platform. You just have a chat with it. But on top of that, it'll then either execute that task for you, or it'll build an AI employee, which sits within your business, and it's a part of your AI workforce, which eventually, as a business owner, you will need to have an AI workforce, but this will build it all out for you. And so it removes any costs involved with hiring an agency to do this for you, any time investment involved of 3 to 4 weeks trying to learn make.com or N8M, which is a lot of these automation platforms where you can build AI agents. And it removes those two big things of cost or time, where you can just have a simple chat with it, which I'm sure every single person that's listening to this platform has used ChatGPT. If you haven't, what are you doing? You need to be using ChatGPT or one of their competitors, Grok or Claude AI. Both are really good. But it makes you so much more efficient. But it's that same feel. We're trying to allow business owners to actually be able to do stuff with that AI. I think the big thing at the moment is like AI's more readily available, but the learning curve of, okay, I see all this AI, but how do I actually implement it? Or what do I actually do? How do I use it? And so I think that's the big problem we're trying to solve is how can we take you as a business owner who's operating at maybe a 1 to 2 level and take you to like a 3 to 4 to a 5 level where you're much more efficient and you're much more effective. So allowing you to have an AI workforce that can automate specific tasks within your business.
Okay, so thinking about a typical trade business then, Blake, what could I use it for? So let's say I'm a plumber. I work in a local area. I've got a team of 3 under me. What kind of things could I use this platform for? What could it help me with?
So obviously, as a plumber or a trade person in general, like AI is not taking over the plumbing industry
No.
anytime soon. Like it's not going to be doing the actual plumbing. So it's a little bit different to an online business, but still your systems need to be online nowadays. I think like if you're working off pen and paper, in terms of the back end management, it's not going to work. So I think the big things is like your CRM, your calls can be automated nowadays with AI. And maybe you're not comfortable with AI taking the entire call. But one of the big things is if you have incoming calls, you might be on a job, you might not be able to answer that. That's lost cash.
Mm.
Maybe 1 in every three job actually converts. You might lose 20K there, you might lose 100K, you might lose 5K, whatever it is. But every single time you miss a call, that's lost cash. So having an AI that can just answer, it can either chat to them until you join the call, or it can ask them a couple questions and say, hey, look, I'm an AI. I'm just going to ask you a couple questions. After this, I'll get one of our team members to give you a call. Similarly to like if you call the ATO or you call one of your banks and they got those things and you press it, it's like that, but it's like 10 times more dynamic because you can actually ask questions. Whereas on the other one, you just have to press 1, 2, or 3, and no one likes those calls. It's you actually have a conversation. So I see that being one of the biggest things. We can automate those calls. Another thing could be having your CRM and connecting your data to your jobs. So each day, say for instance, your team members, working with actually one of your clients at the moment for Growth AI, and one of the big things is when they get off a job site, they don't want to have to go into the CRM and fill out all the little fields and okay, this is the name, this is the address, and this is the issues, and they've got all these forms they've got to fill out and whatnot. Instead, they just get on their phone, they chuck it into notes. Voxer is what we're using. They Voxer it. Hey, I just went to this job, XYZ, had these problems, yada, yada, yada. That's then connected to a full report, which is generated by AI. And so that entire thing that might take them 15, 20, 30 minutes, where they could be focusing on another job or driving to another job, that can now be automated in 2 minutes just through having a conversation with it.
Mm.
And that could be a report, that could be for filling out the CRM, or it could be sending something to a team member. There's so many different things that you can do within your business. And I think one of the things that we will be focusing on soon is having more of a chat version of it, which it does currently have, but like focusing on that a little bit more, where you as a business owner who has no idea about AI, they know ChatGPT, but that's about it. They don't really know what they can automate. You can go onto it, just have a conversation. Well, what can I automate? Or how could I actually save some money in my business? And you're able to give it some of your information, and then it can say, well, based on what we've done for other companies, or based on deep research, or whatever it is, it can come back with a few ideas, and you'd be like, oh, this one, I don't really like that. That's not really my kind of vibe. But okay, this one, it's going to save me an extra $500 a week. Great.
Mm.
That's $500 extra a week in your back pocket. Or it could be as simple as, I don't really need this VA that I've been using, that I'm paying 60 grand a year for. I don't really need them anymore, because AI can do this specific role. And okay, there's an extra 60 grand a year that you can go into marketing, or it could be 60 grand in your back pocket, so you can go on a holiday or whatever it is. So I think AI, it's just getting better and better, and that's the point that I was trying to make with the knowledge. It's like, if you don't know what's out there, you won't know what's coming in terms of what are the progressions with AI, what's new, how can I actually use AI within my business. And I think that's the biggest point there.
Well, I'm very excited for what continues to happen in the space of AI. It's fascinating to me to think that, 9, 10 months ago, I was an AI newbie. I didn't touch it. I talked about it a lot. We spent a lot of time at conference last year talking about it. We used a lot of ChatGPT, but now it's playing a pretty major role in my business to improve our efficiencies and to keep our team small and lean. And that's only the beginning of what it can do. And I think every single time you and I have a conversation, there's some new amazing thing that AI is able to do. I think we're crazy if we are in business and we're not investigating what might be available to us to improve our cash flow, our profitability, our efficiencies, our downtime, give us more time with our family, because we're not sitting chained to a desk doing all of that on the business stuff after hours. And I can take care of a lot of it. Blake, final question from me today. I really want to come in and say who's the very best parent in the world, but I'm not going to. I'll leave that. So I don't know if I'll like the answer. Instead, what I'm going to ask you is, what's the one thing you wish business owners understood?
Few things, I guess. What's the one thing I wish business owners understood? I guess if I was to rephrase the question, like, would this be on a personal level, what I wish they understood for what I'm doing? Or is this more of I'm taking like a high road approach, and I'm looking down on the business owners, and if I want them all to succeed, this is what I wish they knew?
Whatever you're comfortable to share.
Let's do the high road one.
Mhm.
What do I wish they knew? What do I wish they knew? Such a good question. There's a few things I could say, but I want to find the one thing that will actually maybe shift the needle a little bit. So one thing I could say to business owners. Let me think about it. What's the one thing you would say to business owners?
Not to do it alone.
That's pretty good.
I think you nailed that messaging earlier in the episode. I think the problem is, for many of us, we're stuck doing it alone, and it doesn't matter how successful or in inverted commas unsuccessful your business is. Doing it alone, isolating yourself, preventing your support structures from being there for you, will create stress and anxiety that is unnecessary. And I think when you can find a community or a group of people that you can share comfortably with, suddenly, I think that's the biggest needle shifter I see frequently. Now I kind of feel like I've stolen your thunder a little bit, but
So good. You can have it.
you must be used to that by now, Blake. Come on.
Maybe.
I really do think that works. And then the other thing I want to say is, it'd be remiss of me not to have a cheap shot. Listen to your mother, because she always knows best.
Oh yeah. I'm gonna rebuttal that. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Mother knows best when mother knows best. Generally.
That AI, that's your realm.
Yeah. Mother knows best. Mothers tend to be safer, as we've had these conversations many a time.
We have.
Mother, I tend to not go to mum when I have a risky decision to make.
Yeah.
I tend to go to mum when I need actual advice, like something that's like I need someone to actually properly think through it.
Yep.
So I'm very 100 miles an hour.
Yeah.
I'm just going to focus on this. So risky decisions, I tend not to say to you, because you're always going to give me the safe option, which I don't like to hear. But when it's an actual decision I need to really think through, I think, chatting with mom is always really good. And to go back on to, what was your point? You stole my thunder on that thing.
Yeah, that we need support. We can't do it on our own.
Yes.
You've
Yes, for sure.
articulated that again.
I was going to say that whenever you see someone like Elon Musk or Dana White or Alex Hormozi, whoever it is that you see, and I don't know who the trade version of that is, but whenever you see them, they're always hanging out with people who are either on their level or much better. They're always looking for the next person, because that's where the knowledge comes from. And I think there's a real gap between, let's say, 0 to 1 and then 1 to 2 being like the highest. When you're in that 0 to 1 phase, it's very easy to get stuck down in what you're doing. You're focusing only on you. You're only focusing on your business, thinking that's the way to do it. Whereas the 1 to 2 operators, they're really focusing on, who's the people I can talk to? How can I hire really well? Or how can I delegate? Or who can I chat to about specific things that's going to help me within my business or knowledge that I can obtain? So I think getting out of that 0 to 1 mentality and going more into that 1 to 2 mentality, and focusing less on keeping it tight and more so being more open about what you're doing, because that breeds relationships, which turns into more knowledge and advice and more connections, and whatever that turns into. It could be more cash or more time with your family, whatever's important to you. But I think it really does bring that down at the end of the day.
Maybe I really do have to admit that you are the wise one, Blake. At 23, this is a pretty intense conversation. So there you go, listeners. This one's only 23. I'm pretty proud of this one. Well, I'm proud of all my kids, and I'm very proud of you.
Me the most, no?
I'm not going to let my siblings hear this.
I only had to say that because Raquel, my sister, would hate that. No, I really choose favorites.
No, I don't choose favorites. You're all my favorites. Now, if you want to find out more about you, where's the best place for them to find you at the moment? Is it LinkedIn?
Yeah, maybe LinkedIn. We chatted about it early today about not caring about what other people think, and I've kind of been going down that a little bit of trying to put my thoughts out of that. And I have the same thought with Instagram, thinking, everyone's looking at what you're doing and whatnot, and not wanting to post on there. So I think I'm going down the route of posting more content about what I'm doing and kind of trying to go down that route. But I think LinkedIn's probably the best for now. I post some pretty valuable content on there, and then from there, I guess I'll have some more links and more stuff. But that's probably a good hub to start. Yeah.
We'll make sure all of your links are in the show notes. But
Sure.
Thank you. I appreciate you. You can go for a swim now. Enjoy your Bali life.
I will. Thank you, Mum. Love you. Appreciate this chat. It was good.
Thanks for listening.
You've been listening to Tradies in Business podcast with Nicole Cox. Find out more about today's guest, tools for your trade business, and other cool stuff at tradiesinbusiness.com.au.